Well, 1 week you're on the podium, the next week you're getting dropped and crashing. So it's Tuesday. This past weekend I had Elmhurst and Cobb Park. Elmhurst, I got dropped, bad. Cobb Park was better, but crashed late into the race. I'm going to talk about those races a little bit, what I learned from those races, and how I'm going to try to adjust going forward. So let's talk about those races and let's see what the hell happened. What went wrong? All right, here we are at Elmhurst Cycling Classic. Got some big teams here. We've got Project Echelon. We got South Chicago Wheelman, 606. We've got First Internet Bank. They did really well at Fat and Skinny. We've got Talius from Loop Cycling, OK Cycling Club, and Catalyst. Knowing there were going to be some big teams here, I wanted to start more towards the front. That didn't end up happening. So here you can see I'm like already 30 some wheels back out of 100 person field. And yeah, so, but I kind of don't get too upset about it because I see Talius' wheel and he's been doing great this season. So I decide if he's here, then might not be so bad. But here we are heading towards the chicane, doing absolutely no watts. We had a tailwind heading into the chicane, so we were able to go down pretty fast. But as you can see, we slowed down also going to the chicane, which made it so that we bunched up a ton and you weren't really able to take the line you wanted to. And as we were doing that, I was sprinting out of every corner. Here you can see this corner coming up, 0 watts to, here we see 715 watts coming out of the corner. Getting scared, thinking I'm going to lose the wheel. But didn't lose the wheel. It would bunch up immediately kind of after that. So I was doing a ton of work that I didn't need to do. And that was kind of how my race went a bit. I just got scared out of each corner, would do a ton of work, would catch up quickly, would spike my heart rate, and then I would settle in, and then we go to the next corner, and then I would do the exact same thing, as you can see here. For no reason. But here we are on the last straight before the final turn. And I'm tucking behind, trying to conserve some energy. I'm already at 180, 181. They had a bit of a headwind here, so it was a place to kind of like just tuck in and try to conserve energy, which is what I was desperate to do. And yeah, so here we are turning up into the last turn, and this is where the start finishes, and it's kind of an uphill finish, but it's not too bad. And I wasn't really too worried about it because I had just done Sussex and Muskego, which were also hill finishes, and those hills were a bit worse than this one. And overall, this hill wasn't too bad, but with all the surging out of every turn, I was definitely doing too much work and this hill was not helping. So as you can see, I moved up a bit on the hill, but I kind of wish I moved up a bit further. I kind of moved up again mid-pack and kind of found myself in the same exact place that I was on the previous lap. Kind of mid-pack, doing a ton of work out of each corner. And that's kind of how the race went for me. And moving on to towards the end of the race where I eventually meet my demise. Okay, so here we are, coming towards the end of my race. I've been sprinting out of every single corner, absolutely dying. My heart rate has been at 182, 185 beats per minute for basically the entirety of this race after I looked back at my training peaks. I was in the 180s basically the whole time. But yeah, so took that last turn after that hill. And I'm absolutely dying here. Griffin, says to me, let's go. Do we have Riddell doing the same thing? I'm seeing the pack just kind of leaving here. Everyone, kind of letting everyone pass me, realizing that, oh snap, I'm actually the last person off the back here. Was able to just kind of roll into behind. I think this is Will right here. And which is, looking at this now, this is what I should have done throughout the race, was kind of just not be sprinting towards that chicane, because I basically did no watts kind of coming up to it. It was already on the back, but already dying. Legs are fatigued. And coming out of this corner, my legs just did not have anything to just kind of keep up with that pace. And I start seeing the pack just start to leave me. Connor passes me. The other Connor passes me. And that was the entirety of my Elmhurst race, and rolled it in. All right, so here we are for Cobb Park. Wanted to get a little bit of a redemption since I got dropped last time, so my goal overall in this race was to not get dropped, basically. Yet again, I started a little bit further back than I wanted to, but the good thing about this course is it doesn't have a bunch of features like the Elmhurst race did with the hill and the chicane. This one has a small, tiny chicane, but it's kind of inconsequential when it comes to the race. So here we are going to the first turn. And then after this first turn is the first chicane, closely after. You just got to make sure that you're able to kind of go right enough and then turn over into there. So not too big of a deal. And then from there, you're kind of squeezed in a little bit into this one side of this road. There's like a median in the middle. And then you take a turn right here, which is a little bit downhill. This was a great place for me to basically begin to pass people. I used it a lot for that. And throughout this race, I was taking the outside line and was able to kind of pass people through the outside line, which was working really well until it didn't work well at all. Spoilers. But yeah, let's kind of go to some other aspects of this race. Yeah, moving up a bit, so a little bit further into the race. Here it's really starting to pick up, doing 600 some out of the corner. I can see that it's strung out. This first internet guy is on the front. I think he's purposely kind of slowing it down, trying to break up the group a bit more, having to go past him to just kind of close this down a bit, put in a little bit of effort, but overall just kind of the race kind of ended up slowing down again before we get to this corner. Taking the outside again usually worked out pretty well for me. Was then able to be on the protected side on this kind of like circular turn. There we see Boyna following Will. I think he's going for an attack. Boyna is great at just kind of following attacks, so love that he's doing that. He guest raced for us this weekend. Great asset for us, as we just have like not very many Cat 2s on the team, but got some people moving up, so that's exciting. As you can see, Boyna got back. He's back in the pack. We're about probably 28th wheel back here. We're ripping it through here, kind of spread out. Kind of each time that I was over here, I kind of like try to move to the left just to try and stop anyone from passing me on the left side, whether it was fast or whether we were kind of slowing down. Just wanted to make sure that I wasn't losing wheels. All right, so here we go. We've got a situation that happened a couple times. 2 people up the road. It would kind of slow down. I wasn't chasing it down. I was just waiting for someone else to kind of do it. I had a couple of bigger teams here, so would just kind of hop in as the pace picked back up. This was a good chance for me to kind of settle down a bit, lose a little bit, or have my heart rate go down a bit. That turn is so weird. I feel like I took it so wide sometimes. But yeah, I need to work on taking that turn a bit tighter because I would definitely lose a ton of spots there just taking the turn wide while everyone kind of came in on the inside of me. But although I would take this turn really wide sometimes, it was also a really great opportunity for me to move up. I believe I was on the protected side from, if any, minimal wind. But yeah, you can see here I'm doing minimal work, passing probably 10 to 15 people, moving up on the outside. Where I was most of the time, I was here on the outside as I was coming up to this turn, which made it a lot easier for me to just take this turn smooth. But yeah, let's move on to, this is the third to last lap. Moved right into that gutter to not lose momentum as I come into the turn. Kind of ended up in the same kind of position there. Seeing Monk, thinking I'm in a great position. If Monk is here, then I'm not doing too bad. So my kind of goal was there is to stick kind of near where he was, because I know he's a great finisher when it comes to, just racing. So moving up, coming around to this kind of tight corner. Thinking I'm in a great position here. On the outside again. Kind of feel the pace slowing a bit as we're kind of coming down the start finish. Doing like 200 watts, as I can see people coming up on the left. Pace just wasn't high enough to kind of keep it fast. See Riddell, see Buena moving up. Buena moving way up. And climbing up here is where my race is about to end. So coming up into the turn, we're about 4 wide. You see the guy kind of struggle a little bit there, and then he moves a little bit too far left, kind of pushing me into the curb there. Tried to hop it, wasn't able to, and that was kind of my race. Was a bit upset because I felt like I was in a really great position. Was really thinking this is going to be, a great redemption from the day before at Elmhurst, but that's bike racing. So you win some and you lose some. So thankfully I'm all good, just a bit of road rash and ready to compete at the next event. All right, so yeah, that was this past weekend. As you saw, it didn't go as I wanted it to go, but it shined a light on some things that I need to work on. Thankfully I still have some time to start working on those things before grit comes up. Now spraying out of every corner, learning how to conserve my energy, and I think I'm just getting scared of losing the race and being dropped, and in doing that I end up dropping myself by doing way too much work. And I also just want to try attacking a bit more. I've been sitting in a lot of these races, so I want to be able to respond to a move or try to make a move myself. But yeah, I just been kind of timid in doing that, just not confident in my fitness. But the only way to find out is to try it out. So until next time, we'll see how it goes. But I've got a little bit of specific crit training before Toad comes up to just work on my anaerobic stuff and just some crit specific type training. So hopefully that'll help. Peace out, y'all. Until next time.